those resources before you leave. If you have a Bible, turn to Psalm 127. Whenever I see an environment like this where there's this many children, it makes me want to talk about parenting. Most of my ministry is around the subject of family and business, leadership. I love leadership, I love business, I love entrepreneurship, but I love family. I'm committed to family. I think that should be our mantra. I want to challenge men in particular to have the kind of allegiance to your family that you can say, like we just sung, I ain't going nowhere. See, we say that to the devil. We need to say it to our kids. How about, I ain't going nowhere. Daddy, you gonna stay? Yeah. I ain't going. You need to say that to your wife. Ain't nobody singing that to their family, are you? You know why? Because we just want to be happy. And a happiness-driven life is all about having a good time. A legacy-driven life is all about having a good name. And sometimes having a good name means you got to give up a good time. You got to grow up and be tough and love through it all, through every season, through every disappointment. You got to love through sickness and distress and poverty and riches and all that, and rejection and fights and times when you ain't getting sex and times when y'all not communicating, times you got to let the people you know you love them. I love you so much, I'm faithful to you even when I don't feel it. I'm not here because of how I feel. I'm here because of how my commitment to you. I'm committed to you. I made a commitment. What happened to that? Okay, let me go on. Psalm 1. I saw a quote by an author. He's deceased. His name was William Harding Carter II. And what Carter said was that children basically need two things. He says in our quote, there are two things we should give our children. One is roots and the other is wings. And when I said that, I framed a whole... I think if I could frame my whole parenting around those two things, to give my children roots and wings, if you give your children roots and wings, you've succeeded. Obviously, we need to give them Jesus. But roots and wings, that's so significant. And I talk to you as a person who's failed. I feel like I've been average at best as a dad. Most of the time during my children's lifetime, I was pursuing success and trying to build a ministry, and I was away more than I was present, I feel. So I feel like I haven't mastered this. So I'm not talking as one who's done it right. I'm really talking as a grandfather who's got a second chance. Like, I'm a much better grandfather than I was a father. I don't think I've ever spanked my granddaughter. I mean, she's 2 or 3 years out. I don't like other people doing it. I saw my daughter had a wooden spoon. I was like, that's so big. Why would you do that? I'm liable to hit my kids with anything. I'm worried about a spoon, you know. But you get better as you mature. We need to go back to our children and apologize to them. Say, I was practicing on you. I ain't know what I was doing. Just apologize. I'm sorry for all the times I hit you. I'm sorry for cussing you out. I'm sorry for coming up to school with my house coat on, button like this, with rollers in my hair, and cussing you out in front of the student body. All that reckless stuff. I'm sorry for snatching you out the go-go. I could have handled that a little better. Amen. I just... See, we call that old school. So we call it old school so we can get away with being reckless. But just because something old don't mean it's right. Slavery's old. Donald Trump is old. I'm just joking. I'm sorry, I really am. This is not the views expressed on this stage are not the views of First Baptist Church of Glenarden nor those of John Kenneth Jenkins Sr. These are solely the views of Keith Battle and his alone. I ain't going nowhere. We need to give our children roots and wings. Roots are representative of a foundation. They need stability. Roots are a picture of giving them what they need to be stable Wings are a picture of what they need to soar. We need to stabilize their lives and give them roots, and then we need to roots has to do with their foundation. Wings has to do with their future, their dreams, their ambition, their purpose, their destiny. I want to talk to you today about strategic parenting. Strategic parenting. Parenting with roots and wings in mind. And if you don't have any biological children, here's the deal. You see all these kids in here? If you're in here, you're part of the village. We need you. We need your voice. We need your eyes. We need your attention. Don't wait until you have a biological child. If you get a foster child, if you adopt a child, it doesn't matter. If you have nieces and nephews, or your cousin had a baby, your coworker had a baby, your neighbor got children, anywhere there are children around where you are present, you are part of their roots and their wings. You are not to be disconnected from the process. To put some biblical context around it, in Psalm 128, I won't read the whole psalm, I'm just going to read verse 3. It says in the New Living Translation, your wife will be like a fruitful grapevine flourishing within your home. Your children will be like vigorous young olive trees as they sit around your table. Everybody say table. Table is a very important part of the family construct. The table. The table, I think, is underutilized. I was talking to some people between services, and they talked about how important the table was. The table today is as powerful as the radio was back generations ago. There should be a gathering around the table where there are conversations that bring revelations about how people are doing in their life. And the Bible says in Psalm 128, when God is constructing the house, that children are like olive plants around the table. That picture of an olive branch, olive plants are planted. You have to plant olive branches. You have to plant olive trees. They need to be planted. And so that's a picture of the need for a child to get roots. They get see, at a table, that child is not just getting nourishment from the meal. They're getting nourishment from their being identified with a family. To be identified with a family. Let me tell you something. It is possible to be orphaned in your own house. It is possible to feel alienated even in the home in which your parents lived. And we have orphaned children in our own house because of our ambition and our drivenness and our busyness. And we're letting the television raise them and social media raise them and the neighborhood raise them. And we send them to church. We don't even go with them. We'll send them to Sunday school, send them to the youth ministry, give them to Reverend Berkeley, give them to Reverend Queen, give them to them. But that's not their responsibility to raise your children. They're only a part of the process. It's not their job. Thank you, brother. Make it a 20. I give you change for a 10. Give me 5 on the backside. Give me 2. I give you 3. Glory to God. They have their own children. Okay. Psalm 127 verse 3 says, children are a gift from God. They are a reward from him. That's right. Verse 4 says, children born to a young man are like arrows in a warrior's hands. Verse 5, how joyful is the man whose quiver is full of them. He will not be put to shame when he confronts his accusers at the city gates. The man who has his quiver full of them. So when a warrior is in battle, he has a bow on one arm, the bow on one arm, and on the other arm, in a leather container, there is a leather strap and a leather case with these slots on it for the arrows that go in it, called a quiver. And all quivers are not the same size. Some quivers have 2 arrows in it, some may have 4, some may have up to 12. And what determined whether or not how many arrows you had in your quiver is how fast and how accurate you could shoot them. So in the midst of a war, when you don't have a lot of time to make decisions, you take your bow off, you reach in, you grab an arrow out of the quiver, you shoot it fast, and as long as you can hit that target, because it takes stamina, it takes strength, it takes accuracy, as long as you can keep hitting the same target without missing the target, that's how many arrows you can have in your quiver. If you get to 3, 4, or 7 and you start missing the target, now you're going to start hitting the wrong stuff. It's not time to shoot anymore, time to run. Now you're hitting your own people. Man, hey, it's me. If you ever want to know how many children you're supposed to have, it's how many can you give significant direction to in their life, because children need direction. Some of y'all should add some birth control into the situation, because we got a lot of children running around without direction. They're aimless. They don't just need wings, they need guidance. They're not just supposed to have a child because you want them to be cute because his father got good hair and y'all can give him a cute name like Shaquan Trey. It's more important than all that little petty stuff. That child needs direction. Let me get into this. This is the last service. Everything might come out. If roots represent connectedness, and children need to be connected. Children want to be connected. If they're not connected into the most safe and sacred environment, which is their family or their church, they'll find other things to connect with. They want connection. They want connection. They're desperate for connection. They will take their lives if they can't connect to anything. They rather connect to a fantasy world. They will children will create toys that they won't let go of from the time that they're little because they long for connection. They need to be connected to something real, somebody dependable, and somebody that's going to be there all the time, and somebody that's safe. They need connection. And so if connection is so important to giving them their roots, here's the enemy of connectedness is busyness. The reason why we have difficulty connecting, because it's more than about just staying together as a family. That's important because the enemy is fighting families staying together. But beyond staying together, how do we stay close? And if we're not close, how do we get close? I'm saying beyond just having a family to stay together, we just say, well, we're here, ain't we? How do we have a close-knit family? You only get close if you have systems in place that bring you together. And I'm saying systemically, we're so busy we can't be close because everybody's got a schedule. Even in houses where there are two parents in the house, which is often rare now, both parents are working usually. So both parents are working, which means they got their schedule. And then in addition to working, both parents trying to get in shape so they also work out. In addition to working out, both parents are trying to climb the corporate ladder, so they're both taking classes and getting certification and trying to equip themselves and build their resume to go to the next level. And then he's taking real estate classes because he wants to get a real estate license, and she's going back to try to study for her CPA, and so they're both in school, both taking classes. Don't have a lot of time for no drama, don't have a lot of time for no pressure, don't have a lot of time for no stress. Then he's also in his fraternity, active in his fraternity. She's also active in her sorority. She also teaches dance class on the side, and he coaches boys club football on the side. No wonder they don't have time for each other. No wonder they don't have time for the kids because they're all over the place. But it's not just the parents who are busy, the kids are busy now. We got the kids in everything. They're not just in school, they're in Montessori school. They're not just in band, they're in classical band. They don't just play basketball, they got to play AAU. Little Joker can't even dribble, got him in AAU. Need to put his little behind in a little church league somewhere. He in AAU. Now we got to pay $2,000 to take him on trips. That's why we ain't never home. That's why you ain't getting no booty, because you ain't home enough to get you. See, it slipped out again. Kids playing 7 sports. He take karate, he taking swimming, he playing t-ball and baseball, playing football and flag football, playing boys club, basketball, then he taking piano lessons. And so the house is not run like a family, it's run like a company. You drop off, I'll pick up. She's got to go to practice. He's got to go to gym class. He got to get a uniform. He tore his shoes. She got to get new cleats. She got to get a skirt for a choir. She's got a rehearsal tonight. He's in Boy Scouts. She's in the choir. She's on the usher board. He's doing this. And before you know it, we have no time to connect with each other. We're just riding the cab service everywhere, trying to keep them into everything, and we're losing each other. Some of y'all need to look at somebody next to you and say, we really don't have to do all this. We really should evaluate, do we really need to be doing all this? So if busyness is the enemy of connectedness, you would think, I would suggest, let's curtail the activity and try to cut out some of that stuff. But I'm going to do something counterintuitive. I believe you're going to build connectivity by adding something to your already busy life. How about that? I'm going to add something to it, but here's what it's called. They're called family rituals. Family rituals are a Jewish custom. If you ever notice, Jewish families are real close. They're close. They do business together. Their dollars stay in their community. And what's the strength of the Jewish family is ritual. They have stuff on the calendar that reminds them of the Seder feasts and different rituals that they do. Yom Kippur. All of their stuff is based on rituals. They have all kinds of rituals that God told them to keep in place. Do not stop doing these things. Never stop doing these things. Now, if you look at our family 3 or 4 generations ago, it was heavily ritual. Now we've gotten too connected to society and we're too busy and we're disconnected. Family ritual is something that you do on a regular basis with the intention of strengthening and maintaining family closeness or regaining it. And I want to give you 16 examples of them. How about that? It's going to take us to about 4:30. You good? This is not an exhaustive list. This is just representative. In fact, I'd like to hear your ideas. Hit me up on social media. I'd like to hear your family ritual ideas. Some of these are things you probably already do. Some of the things you may have never heard of. Some of them things that you may want to add. Don't try to do all 16 of them. If you just add one thing or 2 things to your system in your family, it can make a world of difference. Before I give you these 16 things, family rituals, every family ritual should have one of these 4 components in it. One, it should have a food component in it. It's good if you have food. Nobody argues about eating. Everybody wants to eat. Number 2, make sure it's a fun component to it. It doesn't have to have all of these, but it should have at least one of these. You don't have to drag kids into something that they enjoy. The third component that would be ideal to have in it is a formation kind of component, something that educates and develops a child. And the fourth component is a faith component, where you include God in it. Somebody say, don't leave God out. So now, here's the first one. The first one is eating a meal together. That should go without saying, but it needs to be a family ritual. I was surprised when I realized how important eating together around the table is. When I first married Vicky and we started having a family, she always wanted us to eat together. I was like, what is wrong with you? Who does that? The family I grew up in, when my mother cooked, the food was on the stove, you went and got fed yourself. You made your plate and you sat down. But we didn't sit down and pray and have a conversation. But the table is a powerful environment. Because when everybody's seated at the table and you don't bring your electronic devices and you leave your phone in your room and you don't bring your iPad and you don't bring your laptop or any of those items to the table, now we can see you. See, at the table, I get to see you. You get to be seen. You get to be heard. You get to be recognized. Sometimes we got to break it down. I don't care if it's hot dogs and pizza at the table. Sit down and get to see where everybody is. Because the body language of your child will let you know where they are. The child will say, can I leave now? Do we have to do this? Can I go through this? That when somebody is disengaged, you need to be aware of that. That's why I don't believe that Adam and Eve, when they had Cain and Abel, when they first was just a family of 4, I don't believe they were having family dinners. And the reason why I don't believe they were eating meals together is, how can you have a child in your house that is plotting to murder his brother? He is that angry with his brother that he planned the murder, executed the murder, hid the body, and walked away and denied any involvement. Now check this out. When they asked him, did he do it? It couldn't have been nobody but me or your mother or you. Y'all ain't listening to me. It wasn't but 4 of us on earth. We want to know that you kill him. I mean, he act like he did it. Now, if they had been seeing him, if they had been paying attention to his body language, like, what's up with y'all? What's going on between y'all? Have a conversation. Dad could have stepped in and said, see, the only time you ever see Adam, when you read through Genesis, early on in Genesis, the only time Adam shows up in passages is when he's having sex with Eve. That's really you coming. He said, and he knew Eve, and she bore Cain. He knew Eve, she bore Cable. That's a man that only shows up in the bedroom. But you got to show up at the table, too, so that you can intervene with your children and find out you got a child in your house that's about to commit murder. The table. Eat a meal together. Number 2, bedtime prayers. You know, remember we used to pray, now lay me down to sleep. I prayed the Lord. Somebody had to teach us that. I'm saying that's a ritual. That's just something that gives a child a sense of normalcy every night. That doesn't have to include electronics to get them to go to sleep. Like, hey, let's pray. And let's not just pray a prayer we memorize. Let's learn how to pray about what concerns us. What are you worried about? Do you have a friend you want to pray for? What do you want to pray for? Pray for mom and dad. Birthday celebrations, very important. I believe birthday celebrations should be treated like national holidays in everybody's family. We're to let our children know the reason why I'm giving you so much on this day, because this is the day the Lord sent you into our life. He sent you to us, and we're going to celebrate this day like it's Christmas. This is your day. This is your day. We make a big deal out of their day. What does that do? That gives them roots. I matter here. My date of birth matters here. Here's a fourth thing, the seat of honor, a family ritual. I learned this from a guy named Dwayne Bond down in Charlotte, North Carolina. The seat of honor is when you set a chair in the middle of a room and everybody in the family sits around the chair, and one family member at a time sits in the chair. And whoever's sitting in the chair gets to hear from everybody in the family how valuable they are to them. They honor them. I appreciate your style. I appreciate your kindness. Thank you for how you helped me clean up the kitchen. Thank you for how you helped provide this for me. They show acts of love and kindness. Can you imagine what that does for a family when most families just joan on each other and condescend to one another and speak negatively of the other? If every week I knew that I'd sit in a chair and my siblings and my parents would tell me how valuable I am, what does that do for my self-worth and self-esteem when I go to school? I don't have to worry about what you say about me, because I know every Thursday when I go home, I get to hear from the people that matter most that I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm cool, I'm fly, I'm dope, I'm hype, and I'm loved, and I'm special. You can't keep telling me that. You can't undo that. Let me tell you something, my mother. This is so important to a child that when I was in my 40s, true story, when I was in my 40s, I would ride down to my mother's house while she was still living on Sunday evenings after I would preach. On Sunday evenings, I go down to my mother's house. We play cards, but one of the real reasons why I would go down there is to hear my mother say, "Boy, you Michael Jackson." She said, when it comes to preaching, you like Michael Jackson. She'd be talking to her friends. They call. She said, "Girl, did you hear that word today?" Oh, when I would walk in the house, her and my stepfather would say, "Our pastor's here. Our pastor's here." She changed my diapers and came and got me out of trouble. But when I was in my 40s, she would say, "My pastor's here. My pastor's here." She would hype me up so good. Let me tell you something. I don't really know if I can preach. I might suck at this. But let me tell you what you ain't going to do. You can't convince me that I ain't good, because my mother told me I'm Michael Jackson at this mess. You understand what I'm saying? My mother said. That's the seat of honor. That's the power of it. You can't undo what the people that matter said. To this day, when I leave home now, when I leave church right now, the only person I really want to hear something from, I appreciate every word y'all say, I appreciate every kind word, I want to know what Vicky thinks. That matters. It's the seat of honor. Here's another one, family date night. When is there a time when the family just does something and it's uninterrupted? We coordinate schedules, we block it out, and we just do something together. We go to the movies, we just go get pizza. How about a movie at home? How about this? How about watching something in the same room on the same television? Who does that? Most times you got somebody in the house, you got one person in the house, mom's on Facebook, dad's on Instagram, the kids on Snapchat. They trying to be wherever the parents ain't. If parents roll up in Snapchat, it's going to be an exodus. The kids will leave. They used to be on Facebook. Now all the parents on Facebook. Somebody listening to their headphones. Another person is playing Xbox. All this disconnection. Everybody's got their own television in different parts of the house. Even if they're watching the same thing, somebody yell upstairs and say, "Hey, you see that?" No, cut everything off. For 2 hours, we're going to be in this same room, watching the same thing together, giving our own feedback. It's just us time. It's a ritual. It's a ritual. Family vacations, big time. My kids have never not wanted to go on vacation. If nothing else, they don't like going to school. You have to plan for it financially. Budget for vacations. And if you can't afford to get on a plane and fly somewhere or go on a cruise somewhere, get in your van, because you ain't parenting if you ain't got no minivan. I don't care what you say. You ain't true to it, you ain't got no minivan. Me and Vicky would get in that Honda Odyssey and ride right up to Hempstead, Long Island, New York, 144 Maplewood Avenue. That was our vacation. Her parents had a nice house. We'd go up there. The kids were happy. Sometimes you got to go down south. All black people got somebody in their family down south. Every one of us got a family member in North Carolina somewhere. Our family in Africa and North Carolina. That's it. Africa, North Carolina. Maybe South Carolina or Alabama, but we got somebody in there. You got to go down there in the country where they ain't got no cable or no internet. You can't help but be a family then. We got to talk to each other. Ain't nothing else to do. What you gonna do? I'm gonna go stand out on the porch and I'm gonna come back in. You can take a vacation right in the minivan. That's what I'm talking about. Because you ain't never parented till you got some Skittles on the floor stuck in the carpet on the minivan, and French fries up under the car seat, and cookies smeared on the mirror on the window. You don't even get that joint washed anymore. You just let the rain wash it, wipe it off. It got like 22 smells in it. Parenting is hard. Tell the elbow son, parenting is hard. For those of you who don't have children, let me tell you what it's like to parent. Being a parent is like taking your heart and letting it walk outside of you. Every one of them jokers pull on your heart. They keep you worried, keep you stressed out, keep you praying. There goes my heart, sick. My heart got a fever. It ain't your child. My heart got a fever. My heart got an ear infection. That's my heart that just got on that school bus. That's my heart I just signed in to child care. That's my heart that went off to college. That's my heart that's dating somebody I ain't comfortable with. That's my heart getting into relationships that I'm not cool with. That's my heart running around with the wrong people. Ain't that a trip? We always say our child running with the wrong crowd. 10 people on the road, all 10 of them say, my child running around with the wrong crowd. Somebody lying. Whose child is wrong? Maybe your child is the wrong child. What number am I on? Number 7, family devotions. Do something spiritual together. Pray together. Read the word. Read the Bible. Get a devotional book. Play games together. Number 8, spades, charades. Simon Says, hide and seek. I got a real good game. When the kid's real small, they don't know no better, and you just want some quiet, want to go to sleep, say, I got this game, I'm going to tell you. I bet y'all don't win, but if y'all win, I'm going to give y'all something good. This is the game. I'm going to go upstairs and act like I'm asleep for about 3 hours. If y'all don't wake me up, y'all win. Don't do nothing. Don't talk to each other. Just be still. In fact, y'all act like y'all sleep for 3 hours too. I only have a name for it. It's the game. It's called game. Number 9, attend an entertainment event together. Go see fireworks. Go see a show, car show, a circus. Read through a book together. Number 10, serve the community together. Number 11, do something as a family together, like we're going to serve the poor, or we're going to go serve a family in need, or we're going to go visit a senior home and just take some cookies to the seniors. Do something together. Family affirmations, very important. What does this family stand for? Write it into this is our family constitution. These are words we live by, and everybody should contribute to it. Like, I believe in this family, every voice should be heard. Everybody's opinion matters. Everybody's dream should be respected. Everybody's space should be respected. Well, I don't know about that. I think you got something in your space and I'm paying for it. I'm searching it. That's a trip too when your kids get old, but they ain't paying no rent, but they want authority. You can't be broke and have authority. You get treated like a kid, you ain't got no money, amen. Number 13, family business meeting. When we talk finances, dreams, goals about getting out of debt, making a purchase, making an acquisition, college tuition money, retirement income, estate planning. You got to have business meetings with your family. You can't just got to have conversations so we don't have arguments. Number 14, apologies should be a family ritual. There's no way you can live in the same house with the same people for a length of time and not offend each other, hurt each other, disappoint each other. And if hurt, offense, and disappointment are happening, then apologies should be regular. It should be a regular part of the family construct. Apologies. I'm sorry. My bad. And not just the children. As parents, we got to humble ourselves and go before our kids and say, I'm sorry. Mommy shouldn't have said that to you. That was unfair of me. That was a little too much. I took it too far. Dad shouldn't have put his hands on you like that. I'm sorry I lost my temper. I wasn't really mad at you. I was mad about something else, and I brought that home. I shouldn't have did that. I should have been there for your games. I was doing me at the time. I was being selfish. I'm sorry for all the time I missed with you. There should be apologies going on because people know you did them wrong. And an apology should always happen at the level of the offense. In other words, whoever was around when you offended me needs to be brought back around, I can't even say it, when you apologize. You don't get to cuss me out and disrespect me in front of the whole family and then meet me later on upstairs and apologize to me in private. Nah, bring the whole family back downstairs you sit where you were sitting, reenact the whole thing. Now we back where we were. What you got to say? You offended all of us. That should be in the system. Number 15, memory lane sessions. Just sometimes you should go back down memory lane. Even your kids just talk about, stuff that wasn't funny at the time. Hey, remember that time we snuck out the house and stole the car? And Dad beat us till the police came? We sorry, Dad, we got you locked up that night, but we called Child Protective Services. And you got stuff that wasn't funny when it happened. If you talk about it and we have roots, we can laugh about it because we know we've forgiven each other and we're moving forward. Number 16, dream sessions. There'll be times when everybody could just say, what's your dream? What do you dream will happen? What do you want? Where do you want to go? What do you want to accomplish? That's how we give children roots. That's how we create connectivity in our house. But then Carter says they don't just need roots, they also need wings. How do you give a child the capacity to soar? I've got a strong foundation. I've got a family. The way you give a child the capacity to soar, here's what it is. The Bible says in Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go. And when he's old, he's not depart from it. What that means is you have to study. The Amplified Bible is great right there. It talks about training up a child according to their skills and abilities. That's literally what it means. It means identifying how God has scripted every child. Like the Bible says we've been fearfully and wonderfully made. God has designed every single human being with unique strengths. So that arrow needs to be aimed, A-I-M. Every child needs to be aimed. We need to be aware of their innate masteries. What is their innate mastery? I need to be aware of that. You got to study them and find out. Here's where children struggle. Children struggle because their parents keep wanting them to be great at something they'll never be great at. Why can't you get this? People slamming their fists on the table. How come you can't get this algebra? Trigonometry. Getting mad. That's all right. When's the last time you used some trigonometry? I don't even know how to say it. Tell me when the last time you used trigonometry. Trickeration maybe, not trigonometry. Tell me when. You done got straight A's in it. And you do hair. We could have saved that money on your trigonometry degree. Could have just been doing cosmetology. We have to find out what people are innately gifted at doing. Aim them. That's my first thing. Aim them according to their unique bent. When I was a kid, I would get in trouble. I was a class clown all the time, so you could tell, right? So I would get in trouble for disrupting the class. They call it belligerence. They had words on the suspension notice I didn't even know what it meant. He was belligerent. What is that? You couldn't Google it. You just had to just assume. Insubordinate. What is that? That doesn't sound cool. I got suspended for that. So I get suspended. If I get suspended, I get a beating. And get beat, I get punished. All for being funny. Somebody should have asked before they beat me, let me just ask you a question. Is he funny? See, if I was corny, you're supposed to get beat. I bet if somebody asked that question, the teacher said, he is hilarious. I'd be wanting to laugh myself, but he's messing up the class. I can't keep him in there. I can't teach. Okay, he's funny. Everybody's not funny. Let's try this. Let's figure out how we can aim him. Let's figure out how we can harness this gift of comedy and gift of speaking for his, because now he's doing it for a living. I get paid to do this now. But nobody ever aimed me. In fact, I got beat and suspended for it. And the deep people try to do pseudo-psychology on me, says, you're doing that because you miss your father. That's what they used to tell me. The reason why you act the way you do in class is because your father left you. I was like, oh. Well, maybe he should come back. Let's go get him. I'm tired of getting beat. I was speaking at a school. This is a true story. I'm telling all this stuff. I ain't making it up. I was speaking at a school called Riker. I forgot what Riker stands for, but it's when you bad, you go to Riker. Kind of how it is. I was speaking at Riker. They gave me 15 minutes to speak. I forgot what the event was, but I'm speaking to the students at Riker, and they gave me 15 minutes. So while I'm up, and I had seen this during the ceremony, there was a kid back just like me who was cutting up the whole time, breaking up the room, making people laugh and stuff. And I could tell he was a class clown because clown no clown. You know how if you dress real fly, can't you tell when the fly person walks in the room? Y'all just know fly no fly, right? I know clown when I see clown in a minute. So, and I could tell by the way the teachers were treating him and the students laughing, teachers frowning on him, rebuking him and stuff. So when I got up to speak, I said, hey, what's your name? He thought I was going to carry him and make fun of him. I said, no, what's your name? And he told me his answer. I said, do you like comedy? He didn't know where this was going. I started telling him, I said, I love comedy. I started naming all the people, all the comedians I loved, and I said, man, comedy makes a difference. People need to laugh. It makes them feel better. Laughter releases toxins out of the body and releases endorphins and enkephalins to the brain. It gives you a feel-good moment. It's like a good high when you laugh. And I said, you're valuable. I said, I only got 15 minutes, probably about 13 now, but I'll give you 5 of them if you come up here. If you do clean jokes, I'll give you my minutes. Because nobody ever affirmed my comedy. I'm affirming yours right now. And that dude walked out of his seat, and he had a couple of one-liners. He really did it. He didn't know what to say. He walked up and he says, I just flew in and boy, are my arms tired. That was his opening joke. I was like, that's good, man. I mean, he did that off the cuff. He did a couple of Jones and then he sat down. But you know what I was doing? I was aiming him. He's not my child. I don't know what happened to him, but I'm part of the village. And where I see innate mastery, you got to aim people. Don't put them down. Find out how we can use this. Are you know what I'm saying? Like we always look at so if our child comes home and they got an A in English, they got an A in social studies, they got a C in biology, and they got an F in math. Did I say math yet? We're going to focus on the F. And I'm saying don't ignore the F, but make sure you explore the A's. Because a person's wings come from their strengths, not from their weakness. Let me tell you the difference between a weakness and a strength. A weakness weakens you. A strength strengthens you. A weakness, here's how you know a weakness. You don't like doing it. You get frustrated when you're doing it. You want to stop doing it when you're doing it, and you don't look forward to doing it. It's a weakness. Everybody, how many have weaknesses? Things you don't do well. Aren't you glad you don't have to do your weakness for a living? Stop making your child do it. Understands that just because the school say he's supposed to be good at that, don't mean he'll ever be good at that. Some people ain't meant to go to college. Some people meant to run a business or be a designer or go. Everybody ain't meant to do it the way you did it. Find out how God designed that child and stop telling them you can be anything. That's not the right answer. It sounds good, but it's lazy. It's not you can be anything. What if they want to be tall? See, we keep telling them stuff that it sounds good. It's motivational, but it's not accurate. You can be what God designs you to be. And it's my job to read you and say, boy, you sharp at this. You cool at this. You got a unique bent towards this. You're a compassionate person. You're a creative person. I want to feed that in your life. Do you like that? Do you enjoy that? Well, you can figure out a way to make a living doing that. That's how you make them soar. And then put them in an environment where their strengths can be developed. How many of y'all remember Michael Jordan played for the Chicago Bulls and the Wizards? Where he played for them. Michael Jordan is arguably the best basketball player ever. When he was in his thing, he was the man. If you want some stuff to laugh at, watch him for 2 years try to play minor league baseball. That Bama was distracted. He riding on a bus to these little minor league games. It was a mess, but he always wanted to do it. And I'm saying you got to understand the difference between a hobby and a calling. An interest and an anointing. We missed 2 years of his mastery while he's trying to find himself on the baseball field. I'm saying stop messing around with stuff that's not what you're designed to fly and doing. Last thing. We got to prepare our children for independence. A part of giving them wings is making them stronger. The way you make an eagle fly, you got to push the eaglet out of the nest. And sometimes they're going to fall, but you got to give their wings strength. And the way you strengthen a child for their exit, we're preparing children to go. We're preparing them for their exit. Train up a child in where they should go. You're preparing them for their exit. You have to withdraw levels of support so that they learn to stand on their own. Like, see, they're going to be shocked when they get out there and they realize, wait a minute, you got to pay for a cell phone? AT&T will be sending you something. They send it faithfully every month. And if you don't send them something back, your phone won't be on. Oh, these tags have I thought that sticker came with the tags. No, every 2 years you got to pay something so that sticker can get back on the tag. They're going to put a new sticker on there. And if the sticker run out, your tags are dead. Oh, by the way, you got to have insurance on that car. It's called liability and collision coverage. You got to pay for that. It's called Progressive or Geico. You can save $15 or less on a 10-minute call if you want, but you're going to have to get that. See, they ain't paying for nothing. They think an apartment, they walk in an apartment that already got toilet paper in it. It already got toiletries in it. It already got cereal and milk in the refrigerator. They're going to open that refrigerator up and see a light and shelves. Oh, no, you got to go to the store to get that stuff. And you got to buy it. We raising kids that have no idea what it takes to survive in this world. Because you've taken so good care of them, you got a 38-year-old son still on your cell phone plan. That's why they're not ready. We have to prepare them. And then some of them, now Vicky and I, we got 3 grown children. They're all in their 20s. They live with us. There was a time when they were all gone. One was in college, one had his own apartment, and one was living in New York. They all back. That's what you call a boomerang kid. How y'all all get back? They all back like they never left. Now you got to have some rules in place. Now you can't come back in here. You come back here and want adult privileges, but you ain't making an adult contribution. coming in here any time of the night. Y'all ain't right. See, now Vicky raised them, so she wanted them all to be gone. Because I wasn't as good as a dad, I kind of glad they're there because I get another chance. She ready for them to go. I'm like, why are you being so mean? She said, well, then we need to go. Let them stay here. We got to go. But the goal is for them to go. See, we can't relate to it because when we got 20, 21, 22, we was out of there. How many of y'all remember we just trying to get up out of there? Whatever it takes. If I got to move in with somebody in their basement, I'd rather be in a car than to be in this joint. And when we left, we didn't come back to visit. Them families come back with kids, bills, debt, repossessions. It's a different generation. My generation, we work so hard, we ain't have a life. That's what our work got in the way of life. How many of you know you work so hard, I only have a life? They're different. They live so hard, they don't have a work. They don't want no job getting in the way of their life. They be like, yeah, I'll work as long as you don't mess with my weekends, afternoons, mornings, and evenings. Yep. Anytime you can work in there. I'm done. I really am. I hope. Let me say this to you. Family matters. It matters. I'm writing my second book. It's called Psychology. I'm writing this book about protecting marriages. I did some research on this, and the research I discovered is that girls who are raised in the house of a divorced couple have a 4-year shorter lifespan than girls who are raised in a home where their parents stay together. We're killing our children trying to be happy. Maybe not killing them, but shortening their life. Every man is his daughter's hero, whether you know it or not. She determines her worth by the way you treat her mother. She gets her MO about what man she would marry by watching you. There was a girl, I'm reading so much as I read this book. There was a girl that had a situation at school where some boys at her school fondled her. She was devastated by it. But she had one hope. When I get home and tell my father, he's going to beat them up. Because that's what dads do. That's what my hero does. She envisioned her father tearing them boys up for what they did to her. When she got home and told her father what had happened, behind the newspaper, he said to her, boys will be boys. So not only is she hurt by what the boys did to her, she's devastated by what her father didn't do for her. Now she's framed in her mind, this is how boys are supposed to treat me. When the Bible says children are like arrows in the hand of a mighty warrior, that's somebody who will fight for their arrows. How many of you would fight for your kids? I'll fight for them. I'll fight you for them. I'll fight you over them. Put your hands on them. They may have came out their mouth wrong, but you ain't going to choke them out over it. We're going to have a conversation. I might choke them out, but you ain't going to choke them out. I know some women, my wife is sweet as she can be, mess with one of them kids. Mighty warriors. And don't just fight physically, we advocate for them. Because once you read them well, you know what resources they're going to need in order to get, so you fight for them. I'm trying to get you in the right thing. Who am I talking to in here? I don't know. We're just having a conversation. Strategic parenting gives them roots and wings. Roots and wings. They need it, y'all. They need it. They need the right wings so they can soar. Today, I want to give you an opportunity to make some steps. Every message, every encounter with God, every church service, the ball becomes in our court as listeners to say, are we going to apply what we learn to our life? And I'd say as a step, don't try to do everything, just try to do a thing. What thing will we agree to do to implement, to strengthen the bond of our family? I had a man walk up to me today say, I was leaving. I had already had my exit plan. When you spoke to me today, I decided to make a commitment to my family to stay. That's what I'm talking about. If that happens, because family matters. It matters. It matters, happy or not. I'm going to stay here. I ain't going nowhere. You should sing that when your wife make you mad. I ain't going nowhere. Steps. Everybody say steps. I was sitting in that chair during service. It's a great seat. It's comfortable. Good sight line. But in order to fulfill this assignment, I had to leave that seat and take some steps. The difference between comfort and obedience is steps. Some of them uncomfortable. These ain't walking shoes. I'm not comfortable. My knee hurts. I'm tired. But you don't just get to do what you want to do in life. You do what you're supposed to do.